A first-class soldier asked the commander. "Sergeant, alligators can't fly, can they?" "Oh. Of course it is. So who told you that stupid thing?" said the major. "Oh really? I forgot. Of course the alligator can fly, but it flies very low. Very short." A young man who had just enlisted in the army was filled with excitement. The first day they gave him a comb, the next day they took him out to shave his head. On the third day they gave him a tip of the toothpaste. On the fourth day they pulled out his teeth. On Thursday they gave him pants, on Friday he ran away. At a military barracks. "Wow, there's a lot of cars here." "Yes, there are 5 armored, 10 cannons. 6 tanks plus a car carrying the damn colonel running around." "Do you know who you're talking to?" "That damn colonel." "So, do you know who you're talking to?" "Or not." "Thank God, that's lucky." In the barricades, to encourage soldiers, the officer transferred hui to offer rewards. For each enemy killed, you will be rewarded with a coin. A few hours later, a newcomer made a report with a pair of cows. "Sir, we are going to be very rich, around Tone Fortress is money and money." The plane was landing, one passenger appeared restless. Asked the flight attendant. "Do you feel tired?" "I can stand it. Maybe because I'm not used to it." "This is probably your first time on a plane." "Oh no, this is my first time landing with a plane. I'm a paratrooper." The lieutenant gathered the unit and asked, "Since before enlistment, who among you has ever drank alcohol?" All things are silent, timid forever. At last Private John stepped out of the line. "Very good. Go have a drink with me." All went to the grass. A retired 4-star general reunited with the servant who had followed him for many years, and now has returned to the garden. After visiting for a while, the general asked the old man to come and work for him. "Your job is still the same as when you were in the division. Nothing changed." The old soldier accepted, starting the first day of work. At 8 o'clock the soldier entered the general's room. Open the window, shake the chief to wake up, then casually round to the other side of the bed, pat the general's ass hard and say, "Breakfast, honey, get up and get ready and leave. Come another day." Rehearsal of a rookie unit, Lieutenant Ho. Prepare to counterattack. The whole platoon grabbed shovels to dig fortifications, one soldier said. "Lieutenant, why not let us attack while the enemy digs fortifications, is it better?" A general of Chu during the Warring States period returned to visit his wife after a long war. "On the first evening we met," the general said, "Honey, tonight you and I will fight hand to hand." "Yes. Let's fight hand to hand until morning." But he was not allowed to send his army into the city. "What's up, girl?" "Because I don't want to have a new soldier." "All right, don't worry. I will send troops into the city, and when there is an order to fire, I will send troops out of the gate." A naval general known to be short-tempered. One afternoon, after drinking, he went to the observation deck to ask the fleet sailors. "This fleet has 2 decks of Yangtze ships, why can't you only see one, where is the other floating?" Quick answer, bad food. Finally a sailor with a sharp hat put on his head and stammered, "Please, Major General, please calm down, you are standing on it." The unit marched through the village, the soldiers took advantage of the time they were waiting for the ferry to run home. Met his wife at the gate, quickly pulled her into the room. "Hurry up, the unit is about to cross the river." In the middle of the beating, the wife whispered, Why do I feel like I'm still too heavy to eat when I'm in the unit? Oh, dead. I forgot to take off my backpack. There was a soldier, tomorrow went to war. That night he whispered to his wife. Honey, I'm leaving tomorrow, please pamper me a little, honey. After doing big things, he thought to himself. I don't know how long it will take me to return to the battle. Thinking about his young wife at home also worries. Fearing that someone would look at him, he drew a soldier standing with a gun on his wife's lap for peace of mind. Soon after he left, the young wife could not bear the boredom because of the lack of her husband, so she took her lover home. The mistress finished a big job, accidentally deleted the soldier standing with a gun. So he drew another soldier standing with a gun. The day the husband returns. Meeting his wife that night, he looked at his wife again, saw that the soldier was still there. He turned to his wife. Darling, the soldier I drew before was standing holding a gun in his right hand, but now he carries it in his left hand. The wife slowly replied. Yeah, I'm too tired to carry my right hand, so I have to change it to the left. The beautiful girl just took off her clothes and was about to go to the lake to take a bath. Out of nowhere appeared a soldier. Madam, it is forbidden to swim in this lake. Why didn't you notify me when I took off my clothes? Because my brothers in the company stopped me. Besides, it's not forbidden. During the Arab and Jewish wars, a Jewish soldier was given a leave of 30 days, and was awarded the medal for capturing enemy tanks alive. A reporter came to interview him. Sir, can you tell me how you can do such a miracle? That's easy, I'm driving a tank to battle. Suddenly I saw an Arab tank, I stuck my head out and waved it back and told the soldier that drove the tank. Do you want 30 days leave? The soldier nodded and asked. How? Simple, you and I exchange tanks and drive back. A guard was brought before a military court for abandoning his guard duty. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. In court he said, Your Honor, I don't object to the court's decision, but first, I want to tell everyone why I left the guard. Number is while standing guard, you know. Standing guard was not allowed to move, not even part of it, and there were only 5 minutes left until the end of the session. I saw 2 squirrels crawling back, he sniffed, he rested, and then each split to one side and got into my trouser leg. Tickled, but I stood still because of military discipline. But it went on and I continued to grit my teeth and endure it. But when they heard them they asked each other, which fruit do you eat first? Then I fell and ran. That's it. If there is a 30-year prison sentence, I will not object. There were 3 soldiers ordered to take them to the trenches. In the middle of the road, her father forced her father to slow down and not follow them. Her father, curious and worried, secretly followed. It turned out to be a stream. The 3 soldiers had to undress to put on their heads and wade across the stream up to their chest. The 3 girls giggled and followed suit. Surprisingly, when her father rushed out to the middle of the stream, the water was still up to the knee. When they returned to the war zone, the 3 young women went to the commander's office to report to the commander. The former commander immediately called the 3 soldiers to explain. The 3 soldiers scratched their heads and scratched their ears. Because it was too hot for us to walk, we took advantage of going down to the stream while bathing to keep it cool. Go out to the middle of the stream, then switch to walking on your knees, so the water is up to chest level. Who cares, they also imitate. But the commander can rest assured, we went ahead to find the way and also had to take care of the commandos and scouts, so we didn't come back. I do not see anything. A young soldier in the front wrote a letter home to his father. Dad, please send me $50 for a prosthetic leg because I have lost a leg. Father wrote a reply. Dear child, according to your previous letters, you have lost 4 legs. Next time I can send you $250. The reserve battalion officer was furious at his men. "I cannot understand. Why are people as well trained as you, as healthy as you, and everyone who shoots beer gets 10 points? Yet when he went to battle, he only hit his face in the fortifications, and fired his bullets into the sky. Could you please explain it to me?" "Only one reason, sir." "What reason?" "Bears don't know how to shoot." A drunken soldier staggered in late. The commanding officer of the unit saw that he did not greet him and asked, "Do you know who I am?" The soldier laughed and looked at his companion nearby and said loudly, "Hey guys, there's a guy here who forgot his name." In an area plagued by cholera, an officer in the military's medical service came to the barracks and asked a corporal, "How do you treat the water to make it drinkable?" "First we filter the water." "Well, and then?" "We boil." "Very good, then what do you do to avoid any danger?" "We drink beer." In the military hospital, the wounded British soldier was cast in both hands and feet begging for help from the nurse. "God, it's so itchy, she scratched it for me." "Oh poor, where do you itch?" "Place, not convenient to say." "Don't be shy, just say it out loud." "Yes, I have an itch between my big toes." A wounded soldier went to see a doctor. The doctor put it on his wrist and looked at his watch, and after a minute of watching, he said, "I have a normal pulse." "Doctor, that's my prosthetic arm." The young wife after a long separation was reunited with her new husband from the army. The first night the two of them confided until almost morning, they fell asleep. Suddenly, the doorbell rang and they both woke up. The husband panics. "Wake up, honey, it looks like your husband is back." The wife's voice is still sleeping. "Rest assured, don't be afraid. That guy is still in the army." Officers of the Golden Star Regiment were working, and officers of the Red Star Battalion entered. Report to the head. "Recently my battalion discovered a 5,000 kilo ohm resistor burned out without a replacement. I suggest you send the car to the division's technical board." "Okay, comrades ready to go on a mission. I will give the car thing right away." Red Star came out, Yellow Star called the car board. "Hello, is that your car? Send a car right up to the division technical department to receive a 5,000 kilogram resistor. Remember that up to 5,000 kilos is 5 tons. Have to let Dream Car carry it yet." A comrade who was the commander of a large unit loved his wife very much and considered her a strong rear. Friends invited him to hang out no matter how hard he was home before midnight. One day, because he was so happy, he was so drunk that he couldn't go home as usual, so he had to sleep at a subordinate comrade's house. The next morning, when he got home, the old nurse was waiting for him and sadly announced, "Sir, my aunt at home has been sick since morning and has not eaten anything. I asked her if she would eat porridge, let me cook it, but she refused to eat it. Now she is in her room." He panicked and rushed into the room, muttering that he was so careless as he walked. "My wife is sick at home but doesn't know. I don't know what to do with that illness. This time there is no lemonade to drink anymore." Saw his wife lying with her face turned away, looking depressed. He sat down on the bed and asked while placing his hand on his wife's forehead, "How sick am I?" Because he was forced to drink too much by the guys in the military zone, he couldn't return. "May I forgive you? Did I eat or drink anything so that he could tell someone to buy a cake for me?" Seeing that his wife didn't say anything, he asked again, "Or should I eat chicken porridge? Let people lie down." The wife yelled and turned right back inside. He was so angry that he stood up and was about to say, "He beats for another fight now." But he respected his wife, didn't dare to use words, so he said, "He left him for one now." When the wife heard that, she immediately turned around, buffalo porridge. Well, if it's good, let's go see it. A professional lieutenant stopped the car in front of a beautiful woman asking for a ride with a heavy plastic canister. He asked curiously, "Is that beer? Or not? Red wine? Or not? So what is the liquid in the can? Gasoline. Oh my God, why did you bring it with you? These days, gas stations are everywhere." "Yes, sir, I often hitchhike, and I know that you long-distance drivers, especially officers, will always lose the eternal chorus when running to a deserted forest. The car is out of gas." When the officer came home to find his wife having an affair with another officer, he calmly said, "You go out, we'll deal with it like a man." Then he offered to shoot 2 bullets into the sky, and then the 2 pretended to be dead. If the wife hugged someone, that person would stay with her. Hearing gunshots, the wife opened the door and shouted, "Please get out. Both idiots are dead." A lecture officer asked a rookie during class, "If you were on the bus and met an officer who just got on the bus, what would you do?" "We will immediately jump out of the car." An American officer, before leaving for Vietnam, went to a tailor to make a military uniform, returned next week. When he tried it on, he found it too tight. He said to the tailor, "How can I still be flexible?" "Sir, what is the problem with this army?" "Why not? You're so lucky, how can I raise my hands in surrender?" A young man assigned to the army asked an army officer, "Why did they force me to fight someone from another country, someone I don't even know his face?" The officer listened and explained, "They don't force you to fight with other people, nor do they ask you to fight with other people. They simply put him in his uniform, took him somewhere else, and put a gun in his hand. They then take him to the battlefield to face the enemy, who also has a gun. Then they let you decide for yourself. You can't kill them." The commander called a young soldier to reprimand. "Why did you reveal the ambush site of your unit during the last sports festival?" "Not only that," he scolded, "even nearly assaulted 2 locals." "Commander, performing the assigned task, I disguised myself as a cotton tree. There are a couple of local men and women sitting under the tree, that is my back. First, they talked about love intelligence, birds away from their nests and branches, and then vowed to meet the sea. And then? Even though I have to listen to all the lies, I still persisted, determined not to reveal our battlefield. After that, I acted to hug, kiss and ask for this and that, I still refrained from revealing the battlefield." "You speak slowly. And then?" "Yes, but after finishing somewhere for about 15 minutes, suddenly the local guy took out a penknife from his pocket, and then carved a heart and the word heart of the 2 into the tree. That means my butt, I can't take it anymore. Now, come to think of it, I still have an owl." Massive fire at a hospital. After extinguishing the fire, a firefighter reported to the commander, "Commander, the fire has been completely extinguished. In the basement, we rescued 9 victims, 4 were revived, and the other 5 were unfortunately dead." Listening closely, commander fainted. After a while, when he regained consciousness, he whispered, "God, there's a hospital morgue in the basement." 2 wounded soldiers lying side by side. "Hey, why do you look so hurt?" "Well, also have to tell the commander. During the practice of throwing grenades, he told him to pull out the pin and throw it far away. I do it like that." "Oh, why are you injured?" But he didn't say which one to throw, the pin or the grenade. The staff sergeant shouted the best soldier in the squad, "Come on, boys, crawl on this grass, so that no one can distinguish you from the cows." There was a soldier wondering, "So what if a farmer comes out to milk, what to do?" The doctor examined a wounded soldier, couldn't diagnose the disease, and asked him if these symptoms had been since he was injured, right? Yes, doctor. Yes, your illness is caused by an old wound reoccurring. 2 policemen on patrol found 3 grenades on the street. They decided to put them in the car and bring them back to the station. The young policeman worriedly asked, "What if it explodes along the way, dear ambassador?" The old man replied more connoisseur, "Don't worry, if it explodes, I will report that I only picked up 2. The council held a medical examination to recruit soldiers. The doctor pointed to the vision test sheet and then asked the young man, "You see this letter?" "Yes, no." "Come a little closer, shall we?" "Can you see it now?" "Yes, not yet." "Come a little closer." "See?" "Yes, indeed, I did not see anything." "You're close enough to look here." "Did you see it?" "Yes, I see it now." "Good." After saying that, the doctor took a note of the paper, suitable for close combat, and handed it to the young man. The teacher was reading the lesson for the whole class to transcribe. Seeing one of her students not carrying a notebook, the teacher scolded. "If you go to school without carrying a notebook, it's like going to the plow and forgetting the buffalo, going to the battlefield but forgetting to bring a gun." Thought the student knew his mistake. Who would have thought he said again, "Yes, ma'am, if you go to the field and forget the buffalo, you'll plow with a machine, and if you go to the battlefield and forget to bring a gun, you're a general." Going to check the cleaning work in a restaurant, the team leader immediately called the chef to criticize and remind. "Why do you guys leave a huge pile of garbage right outside the restaurant, including dead rats and flies? Is the hygiene of the hospital so poor?" The elder brother stammered to resist. "Yes, sir, this is my diversionary initiative." "Suspect what?" "Poor hygiene, but still healthy." "Yes, it's not. Because several times we offered to buy a table cage to cover the rice soup in the cafeteria, but the boss still hasn't approved it. This pile of garbage is to attract all the flies to come so that they forget about the empty rice trays in the cafeteria." A traffic policeman, stopping a small car, thoroughly checking from the fire extinguisher to the first aid box, road insurance, everything is flawless. "Well, you are such a model driver. Let's make a cup of wine, on the occasion of the holiday." "Oh, no, let you punish me again. Drink in peace. Today is a holiday." After finishing the bottle, the man got into the car to continue, but the policeman kept his word not to punish. Then the policeman took out his walkie-talkie and called. "Hello, number 3 calls number 5, do I still owe you 500,000? Let's take that money from the small car passing by." The guy driving the car was drinking. Two veterans are bragging about their unit. "My company was trained so well that, when we saluted with guns, all he could hear was the sound of rattling and rattling." Hearing this, the other replied, "Well, that's pretty good. But our company salutes with guns, he only hears the sound of the basket shifting, the tinkling." "What's the jingle sound?" "Oh, that's our emblem." An insurance agent from the U.S. Department of Defense was assigned to service units, inviting recruits to buy insurance for the Iraq War. He was brilliant, inviting almost 100% of the clients he consulted. And here are the tips he shares with his colleagues. "I work just like you guys. I met new recruits to introduce all types of insurance and benefits when participating in war insurance. If you buy insurance, when you unfortunately have to die in battle, your family will be compensated by the government $50,000. For those who don't buy insurance, the government only takes care of the funeral and pays $3,000. So in your opinion, which group of soldiers will the government send to the battle first?" The United Nations Security Council organizes a painting contest on the topic of which country's soldiers are the poorest. The competition brings together all the artists from all countries, depicting the poverty of their countries, to take advantage of the suspension of aid money from the United Nations Security Council. By the final round, there were only 3 countries left: India, the Emirate of North Africa, and Vietnam. The first painting by a North African artist depicts a scene of white mist flooding the road. The land is arid, the soldier has to gnaw every bone on the roadside. Looks miserable. The judges agreed for the third prize. The second painting by the Indian artist shows a soldier in rags eating beef. As a Muslim country, it is moral for Indians not to eat beef. However, this person was so hungry that, while eating, tears flowed. What a tragic scene in the world, causing all the judges to agree for the second prize. The third painting by the Vietnamese artist, after seeing, all agreed for the first prize without thinking. The image of this picture is very simple: a white anus full of cobwebs. A soldier went to battle for the first time, and when he met the enemy, he ran away. The commander scolded. "Why did you run away when meeting the enemy?" "Commander, I am not afraid of the enemy, but I know that the earth is round, so I intend to turn around to attack behind it." The village teacher had a daughter who had reached the age of marriage. One morning, 3 boys came to propose at the same time. He was a sawmill, he was a carver, and the other was an army officer. When the teacher was embarrassed because all 3 things are worthy of being his son-in-law. Unable to choose right away, he thought of a way, by giving 3 people 3 identical locks and saying, "Consider my daughter locked in the room with this lock. Whoever opens it first will get it. Remember to write a poem when unlocking." The sawer took the lock and opened the tool, humming as he worked. No matter how hard the copper lock is, there is still a copper lock for lunch. The carver, no less, took out a hammer and chisel to knock, then clam. The copper lock you keep in your hand, can you hold the lock all day long? As for the officer, after the awkward first part, he suddenly remembered something and quickly pulled out the pistol strapped to his waist and said cheerfully. His gun was only 1 gang long, with 2 bullets that broke the copper lock. After listening, the teacher stroked his beard and laughed. And the girl blushed. Whatever the outcome is, everyone knows. The U.S. Congress convened to find a solution to encourage retired U.S. generals. Parliament made a decision favoring retired generals, who, in addition to the usual regimes, were entitled to an allowance of an amount equal to the sum of the lengths between any 2 points on his body, in cents. Centimeters multiplied by $1,000. A few days later, 3 generals applied for leave. The first person asked to measure the distance from head to heel. He's 1 meter and 90 feet tall, so this general gets $190,000. The second person asked to be measured from the middle finger while raising the hand to the tip of the big toe. The distance between these 2 points is 2 meters and 30, so he gets an additional $230,000. The third person asked to measure from his head to his pistol. The expert panel agreed, but, to do this, he had to take off his clothes for ease of measurement. When this man took off his clothes, the council asked in surprise, "Where are your 2?" The general calmly replied, "It's not here, it's in the Gulf Desert." Private Ivan called home to his mother in frustration. "Mom bought me a pig right away." "Okay, I'll buy it. Please name him Peter." "You don't understand?" "Oh, that's my platoon leader's name." "Oh my God, what are you doing?" "Yes, when I return to the magic, I will kill it myself." The recruits were marching as soldiers shouted, "Sergeant, please stop fixing my clothes, the spare shoes behind the backpack keep kicking my ass." "Yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing with you." A soldier was on leave to visit his lover. That night he and she sat and talked under the tree. Seeing her lover stiff as a statue, she suggested, "Behold, there are 2 birds on the branch, cuddling. Why are you sitting there so dazedly?" Then you know what to do, honey, my gun is out of ammo. You want to volunteer to join the Navy? That's right, Admiral. Okay, can you swim? Why swim? Don't you guys have a boat? In naval class, second lieutenant gives an assignment to rookie John to blockade the city's harbor. 10 minutes later, John returned to report the mission completed. Very good, please describe the measures you have taken. Lieutenant, simply put, in the middle of the harbor, a water tortoise plus a burning cigar inside. The conscripted soldier went to the barracks to receive the unit. He was extremely surprised when he saw that the sergeant major of the unit was so lovely, kindly asked him if he was tired from the road, carried his luggage for him, took him to his room, arranged his bed. Affectionate like a father. The new soldier slept peacefully. The next morning, he woke up suddenly to the shouts of the sergeant major. "Wake up, damn lazy army, do you want to go to re-education labor?" The sleeping private trembled and asked, "Why yesterday? Big fool. Didn't you see the TV reporters running around yesterday?" The chief said to the storekeeper, "Hey, storekeeper Truong, where did you put the bags of fish yesterday? But today I went to check to cook fish sauce, but I can't find it anywhere." Report to the chief, "What's in there?" "So you didn't listen to my orders? I told you to put it in the warehouse." Report to the head, when we ask, "How do you personally solve it?" The head again said that the original SI was put into the stock of socks. "We strictly follow it, so we put it in the pot and store it." The first time NASA, the US Space Agency, put people into space, they discovered that ballpoint pens could not write in zero gravity. To overcome this problem, NASA set up a research team to produce a weightless pen that can write back and forth on almost any surface, working at any temperature. The program lasted 3 years and cost an estimated $7 million. Meanwhile, Russian cosmonauts chose a simpler way than using pencil. The chief asked a soldier, "Why did the comrade hit his captain's head with a hammer to go to the hospital?" "What does it mean?" "Yes, report to the chief, I completely obey the orders of the captain." Star? Did your captain tell you to do that? Yes, that's right. How true is that? Yes, when we heated iron to forge knives, the captain himself told me verbatim. "You take this hammer, when I pull out the red-hot iron and nod, then take this hammer and go straight into it." The unit organized the K-54 handgun shooting lesson too. Each officer was allowed to shoot 3 bullets at a distance of 50, 35, and 25 m hidden targets. A young officer shot well, all 3 were shot in the chest of the target. Because he was so happy, he turned to his teammates and said with a satisfied voice, "Do you guys think it's super, just shoot like that?" An elderly officer who hit only 1 bullet in the lower abdomen of the target said to the young officer, "You're not as good at shooting as I am. In actual combat, the enemy's chest is all bulletproof armor, all 3 of his bullets are thrown out, but his bullet hits a dangerous place. Of it, it will surely roll around and see." A new duty soldier walked into the regiment commander's room. "Sir, I have the feeling that someone wants to talk to you on the phone." "What do you think? Who wants to talk to me?" "Yes, sir, the number is that." When I spoke to the receiver, a voice asked, "Is that you? Bandit boy." The funeral of an officer who died on the battlefield took place extremely solemnly. On the grave of this officer, there is a stele, recording the reason for his sacrifice. The content of the stele is as follows. "This is the grave of Officer John, a brave soldier. He died because of the enemy's bomb, not because the bomb exploded, but because the bomb hit his head." A soldier was transferred to the infirmary in a serious condition. After being resuscitated, he began to regain consciousness. The treating doctor asked him. How did you get so badly injured? Ambushed? Oh, no, doctor, I found an enemy bunker, so I took a grenade to draw the pin to throw it into the bunker. After I unhooked the grenade and was about to throw it, I completely forgot what I needed to throw, the pin or the grenade. Wondering which one to compress. The two commanders sat drinking together. One man lamented. Poor me, the soldiers in my barracks are so stupid. How are they? I set the password to log in and out of the camp, steal. The night before, the guard saw someone peeking out of the fence. He loaded the bullet stuck and pointed his gun out and asked, which guy is that? Hurry up, or I'll shoot the skull. The trembling boy said, thief. So the guard let it go. See if you're stupid. A soldier driving a car confessed to a female military officer. The girl asked. The damaged gun has been stored in storage, but it can still be pressed on the cheek, next to the shoulder, squinting, holding your breath, and pulling the trigger. Hearing this, the young man replied. Damaged car, brought to the workshop, no paint scraping, rust removal, inflating, oiling, and grease reapplied. 2 American soldiers were given bulletproof vests before going to battle, sitting and talking to each other. I don't believe in these shirts, because I know for sure they're not bulletproof. You're right. I know the best way to protect my head is with my hands. So you think you put this shirt over your head? I mean, just raise your bare hands. Recruit troops according to ability. At a recruiting station. His profession? Mechanic. Good, you joined the tank army. And you? I am a lawyer. I'll be the secretary. And you? I stutter. You joined the machine gun unit. Walking in the park looking at the sky and flowers, immersed in a song about romantic love, suddenly a girl came and whispered into the boy's ear. Sir, do you know that your TV is on? He didn't understand what the girl meant, but when he happened to look down, he saw that the zipper of his pants was open. Embarrassed, he decided to replay the girl once. My TV is showing war scenes. Do you see in the barracks a soldier standing very seriously in it? He must be standing still now. Earlier, I saw him standing sullenly, his face contorted, full of wounds, generally looking very old. A policeman caught the thief. On the way to the police station, the thief said to him, wait for me to go buy a pack of cigarettes. Hearing that, the policeman shouted, are you crazy? I'm not that stupid, let you get in the way and go away. Well, you stand here so I can buy it for you. In a military prison, the old inmate asked the new prisoner, how did you come in here? All because I tried to break a window glass. So you're here, too? You tell me? I am a chef in the Navy. That day, while cooking dinner on a business trip, I accidentally caught a fire and spread it to the nearby oil tanks. I used the fire extinguisher to put out the fire. The fire went out, but the smoke was so thick that it made me very suffocated and difficult to breathe. I hurried to find a way to open the window to let the air in, but because the door was so tight, I grabbed an axe to break the glass. You're doing it right, how could? Yes, you see, and yet they insist on blaming me for intentionally sinking the submarine. The army in a European country is encouraging students to join the army. As the general's speech reached its climax, the students whistled, booed, and hurled rotten vegetables onto the podium. However, when the general finished his speech, they stopped throwing, quickly applauded, and cheered. When a reporter saw that, he asked, why did you guys throw tomatoes at that general and now you're applauding? We asked to speak again, because there are still quite a lot of tomatoes. In the army, a sergeant said, after the comrades sleep, the enemy does not take a nap. What can we draw from that? A rookie boldly cut in. We should sleep more, to torment the enemy with insomnia. A person calls the number of the fire department. Hello, I just remodeled the front of my house into a miniature landscape. There is a beautiful new flower cluster, a lovely fish tank, decorated rockery, and a wonderful rose garden. But what does that have to do with the fire department? Yes, my neighbor's house is on fire, and I don't want you to trample my garden. In the middle of the night, a man called the fire department, panicking. Help me, my house is on fire. The caller asked. Where is your house? I'm so confused, I can't say the exact address. Then how do we get to your house? Either way, just take the big red fire truck as usual. During the war, 2 young men who escaped from the army were arrested. In the investigating captain's office. Hey, why did you avoid the draft? Captain, I'm deaf. It's okay, I'll add you to the mine clearing team. And the other guy, why did you avoid the draft? Captain, I'm nearsighted. It's okay, I'll add you to the hand-to-hand combat team. Three soldiers who stole military equipment were caught by the military police, the platoon leader announced, giving us 5 seconds to disassemble the stolen items. If not, shoot it. The first guy held the AK and couldn't take it off, shot back to the sky. The second guy held the CKC, it didn't take 5 seconds to finish, and he shot again. At the gate of heaven, the first guy saw the second guy and said, "Mine is an AK, 13 parts are hard to die, why do you only have a CKC but you can't disassemble it?" "No, I've almost finished dismantling it, but I looked over and saw the third guy pulling the bolt on the grenade, my friend." A swimming teacher at the Navy school was a little proud, because no student had ever passed him without knowing how to swim. However, in this course, there was a guy who couldn't swim. Even though the teacher used all his abilities to teach him, including studying at night and studying during the day, the other guy still couldn't swim. At the end of the course, the teacher quietly called him over and instructed, "I have this advice for you, if your ship is sailing and sinks, you should immediately dive to the bottom of the sea and run quickly to shore. That's the only way to save him." The girl said to the young soldier, "Maybe we are not destined to be lovers, I accept you as my adopted brother. Come on, baby, if you are a lover, you can do it, but in the unit, I've been your foster brother forever." A young soldier about magic talks to you. At home, I was the youngest, I had to be a younger brother, I could only be a brother when I joined the army. Really? What do you do? Make him foster. Girl talking to boy. Are you in the army as an artillery soldier? It's really touching that you are interested in my specific work, but how do you know that? Listen to the way you talk, you're so hot, I guess. In a foreign military unit, an officer mobilizes soldiers before going to battle. In front of you are enemies, they just want to make your life miserable. They will kill you every day until the war is over. A soldier stood up and shouted, "That's right, I know right away, the company chef is not on our side." In the assembled squadron, the commanding officer on duty ordered, "Soldiers who love music, step forward." 6 soldiers in the formation eagerly stepped out. "What cards should we play, sir?" "Don't play at all, forget the piano, go to the officers' club on the other side of the mountain." God, I thought it was a hobby of assigning tasks. A fire that started in the lawn is spreading to a farm in India. The nearby fire department immediately sent someone in, but the fire got out of control, so they called the neighborhood volunteer firefighters for help, and the volunteer soldiers arrive. In an old fire truck, they bravely drove the vehicle straight into the fire. In the midst of the flames, the firefighters jumped out of the vehicle and started spraying water in all directions. Before long, they were able to control the fire, preventing it from spreading. The owner of the farm felt very impressed with the bravery of the volunteer firefighters. He immediately rewarded them with $10,000. The next day, a local newspaper asked the captain of the volunteer fire brigade, "What are you going to do with that prize money?" "We'll definitely have to fix the damn fire truck's brakes first." The night before going to the military recruitment examination, a young man was told by his friends a little trick to avoid the army. A guy went to the doctor and recruited a doctor to check his eyes. The doctor pointed to the table and asked, "What word is this?" The other man was bewildered. "What word?" "In this line." "What line?" "Here, on the table." "What table?" "The guy who gets the money is unsuitable for the job," which is exactly what he means. Hearing that, the guy who was about to enlist in the army decided to repeat that magic trick with the medical doctor. During the eye exam, the doctor asks, "Now show me the words on the table." Surprised, he asked, "Which table?" "There are no tables here." "You're right, you can see that there's no table at all." He was accepted into the army. Soldier love letter. Escape that he has been serving in the army for nearly a year. "Just one more year, I will serve, then let's get married. Assure me that, once we're married, you'll be an officer and I'll be a soldier. I am aware that I must always obey my superiors, because military orders are like a mountain. For you, I will fight in all aspects, do well in the army's rear, including the market and logistics, ready to fight with buckets of clothes without washing machines. He will always do civic work. When he has children, he will practice roller, pair, crawl, drag and command the army in a high spirit of combat readiness. I swear to you that, if I disobey the orders of my superiors or leave the army, you will discipline me severely or strip me of my military citizenship, and send me out of the house as a commoner. I wish you happiness, love life. See you again. My love." In the old days, when marching, our army followed in a line, the leader walked in the middle of the army to give command, and orders were transmitted orally from person to person, and of course must be transmitted accurately. Our company on the march to the south, along the way food was very scarce. The brothers suggested to the leader, when going on the road, to shoot wild animals to improve the meal. The chief agreed, but in order to avoid people shooting small animals that consume bullets, but the meat is not enough to divide, so he told the comrades to shoot only wild boars or deer. "Have any questions, just ask me." From that day, while marching, suddenly the first group discovered a deer, immediately passed the word on to the leader. "Report, the chief told me to only shoot deer, now I see a deer, can I shoot?" The order was transmitted to the chief's ears. He was so angry that he shouted, "Oh my God, what's the difference between deer and deer?" So from one person to another, the swearing echoed throughout the deserted forest. When the transmission reached the top, the deer had already run away. A rocket artillery unit conducts live-fire drills. Because he had not been on the road for a long time, the soldier driving the Euro 6X60 truck, carrying the K9 artillery battery, did not stop in time when the red light was on and crashed into another vehicle. The guy jumped out of the car and went to the other car. There was a middle-aged man in the car. He shouted when he saw him, "What are you doing? You almost killed me, you know." "I'm sorry." He drove back to the car with a can of alcohol and medicine, and gave it to him. "Drink a little, then you will feel better." The man took a sip and then shouted again, "Again, you'll kill me." The soldier handed him the canteen again, and this time he drank a lot. When the glass of wine was more than half empty, he smiled. "Thanks, I feel better now, but why don't you drink?" "I don't want to drink a drop." "We are marching. When will the police car bring the alcohol tester? There was a paratrooper recruited because he was big and strong, but had a stutter. During a parachute practice session, the deputy regiment said, "You guys just do as I tell you. When you jump out, just count from 1 to 3 and then press the button to open the umbrella." Everyone got on the plane. When it was his turn to stutter, people saw him fall straight to the ground without opening the parachute. Fortunately, he fell right on the branch and was hooked on the trunk. The coach ran to see, he was floating and his mouth was still counting pa, 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 pa. A soldier in the army received a letter from his wife who had just given birth. It includes the passage, "Brother, I gave birth without milk, so I had to breastfeed thanks to a black woman, so the child is now black." Surprised, he wrote a letter to his mother, recounting what she had written. His mother immediately sent him a letter. "My son, I didn't have any milk when I gave birth, so I had to give you cow's milk, but you didn't grow horns until now?" When he first joined the army, though Adam was an ethnic, he was afraid of ghosts. The toilet was only 50 meters from the barracks, but it was dark and he didn't dare to go out, so he cleaned it right behind the barracks. The next morning, the commander asked but no uncle accepted, so the commander acted like a soldier. All a row gathered, from the scene to the toilet passing the pile. Pity the guys at the top of the line. And the guys at the end have nothing to do. The next day, the company organized a picnic, and in the evening the unit camped outside a village, close to the edge of the forest. At night, Adam felt sick to his stomach, but remembering the last time he was in the unit, he had to be punished for him, so this time he went some distance away from the campsite, and then hid in a grove of trees. But unfortunately, he got an apple, so he worked hard but still couldn't come up with a product. At that moment, from the side of the grove, a man and woman were lamenting. The girl's voice said, "If I can't marry you, I'll die." The boy's voice replied, "If I can't marry you, I'll die." Angrily he said aloud, "If I can't poop, I'll die." A rookie guarding the barracks for the first time, he stood guard while repeating the password. Suddenly someone came, he asked for the password. "Swallow. Come in." After a while, someone came and asked for the password. "Falcon. Not a falcon, but a swallow. Come in." During a meeting to discuss the upcoming plan, the general asked, "Did you hit?" The elders replied in unison, "Hit, hit, definitely hit." The torch was bright, all eyes were filled with ferocious light. The general pulled out his cell phone from his pants, dialed a number, his face was as cold as money, and said, word by word, 3 children 9, 27 points. There was a general known to be strict. One day he was reviewing the army on Independence Day when he heard a sneeze. He angrily asked, "Tell me, who just sneezed?" There was no reply. Again he shouted, "Tell me, who just sneezed?" Also no reply. He shouted, "Where are the soldiers? Shoot all the front lines." His order was immediately executed. Again he asked, "Now tell me, who just sneezed?" This time there was no reply. He shouted, "Where are the soldiers? Shoot the second row." His order was executed again. He asked once more, "Did someone sneeze?" This time, he looked after the third row, and a soldier came out trembling. "It's me, General." The general then said, "Where's the soldier? Give this guy some cold medicine." Dispatch the company to line up, check shoes. All attention, right leg raised. There was a man who raised his right leg high, a soldier by mistake raised his left leg. The lieutenant, standing at the front of the line, felt strange and asked, "Where do you put both feet on the other side?" In the barracks, the NCO asked the new soldier, Suppose one night, you stand guard in front of the armory and blow it up, what will you do? Yes, Corporal, I will fire 2 shots to wake up my teammates. A soldier who expired his service came home to find that his wife had given birth to a child. Which baby is this? Are you away from home all the time? The wife argued. What was it that you didn't send home when you were at the unit? Remember? I remember, but that picture I took is half of a person. Major tries to convince a corporal to extend his service for a few more years. Think about it, that's 2 years of military experience. What do you think of my 18 years of civilian experience? The rookie asked the captain. Chief, why can't women serve in the army? Because women never follow the orders of the trainers. What are the orders, sir? You lie down. A soldier asked a boy as he marched through the village. Hey kid, what do you like to do when you grow up? Yes, when I grow up, I like to go to the army. Yes, so why join the army? Yes, go to the army to get a shot. Yeah, so what do you do when you get a shot? Yes, I have a gun so I can shoot birds.